Yes, but you probably want a better answer than that. Rather than having a tutorial mission, there's just an option for training in the main menu. This brings you to, well, a training area. I'm not going to waste your time and go over all the stuff in this area, but I will hit on some of the major changes from Silent Assassin. First, walking is no longer abysmally slow. Crouching still is, but walking is no longer painful. This also applies to sneak mode, thankfully. Gone is the anesthetic. Instead, you have a syringe, which also knocks someone out for a while, but they still get back up. You usually only get one, but it's not nearly as clunky to use, so it's an overall positive in my eyes. Also, it's just way easier to use the fiber wire and syringe now. You don't have to be sneaking to use them, so they're less clunky, and they just actually work better overall. And the inventory is now in the wheel style. This is probably one of my favorite changes. I didn't realize how much more satisfying the wheel menu is. And last thing, the map still shows dead NPCs, however they're actually marked as dead now. Before the first mission, here's a brief overview of the story. 47 got shot on his way back from a hit and is dying in his hotel room. All these missions are his memories or hallucinations or whatever. That's the story. Oh, also, if you ever see me doing this is just sliding. I'm holding down run and tapping forward, which lets me move at running speed, but the game thinks I'm still walking. You can do some broken stuff with it, but I don't. I just do it for fun. Oh, and this game is dark, both figuratively and literally, if the main menu didn't make that much clear. And I'm still playing on Expert. Asylum Aftermath starts with a memory of 47 killing Dr. Ortmeyer at the end of Codename. I start by grabbing his car key while I'm still in the white void. Also, I guess now's a good time to mention that the UI in this game is just really small. I tried a bunch of stuff to make it bigger, but fortunately you don't really have to care about it too much, it's mostly a me problem. The goal for this mission is just to escape, though the asylum is in complete turmoil. There are so many corpses of dead clones that 47 killed and crazy people everywhere. Whatever happened here must have been way more fun than what happened in Codename. I want to play through this. I also tried shooting some of these vats that are growing more clones, but unfortunately you can't break any of them. Oh, and shooting those vats doesn't actually void Silent Assassin anymore. The whole rating system is similar to how it was in Hitman 2, but it's more generous, especially when it comes to shots fired. I still don't know exactly how the game works, but it seems like if shots don't actually hit an enemy, they're just ignored. Though I'm pretty sure the rest of the rating system might still adapt around it. Like before, I'll be going for Silent Assassin, but if the missions end up being too frustrating or tedious, I'll just move on. The level itself is wild. There are a lot of crazy patients everywhere, and there's even one guy chopping up one of the clones. I'll just leave him be. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Just before I get out of the lab part of this level, the SWAT team start assaulting the asylum. I'm going to take a wild guess that I can't get out of here in my suit, so my first plan is to try to find a disguise. My first stop was the first floor, but this guy doesn't look very friendly, so I quickly decided I actually wanted to go to the second floor. I don't know what happened here, but I'll just take the SWAT disguise because it seems like it's the most useful out of the options here. Overall, disguises in this game are actually useful compared to Silent Assassin. They're not perfect like they are in Codename, and some work better than others, but overall they work really well. Unfortunately, the SWAT disguise is one of the less useful ones. I try to leave with it, but that would be way too easy, so I just die. Interestingly, when you die in this game, you go into slow-mo and have the opportunity to headshot 3 people to stay alive. This is shockingly useless. Rarely do I get in a situation where this would actually help at all, but even if I did, this is just really hard to make work at all. Anyway, since I can't go out the main entrance, I spend a long time looking around the rest of the building. There are a few patrolling groups of SWAT teams around the map, I think one on each floor. They actually have really good AI and they work together, and it's honestly pretty cool to just watch them on the map. While they're not hostile to me directly, they absolutely will blow my cover if they look at me for too long. But fortunately, it's not too hard to dodge them since their patrol route around the floor is really long. I head to the roof to see if I can find another way out. There wasn't anything up there, but I do spot a potential way out with a ladder that's by a window that appears to be open. Then after even more running around, I can't find it. Turns out it's past the SWAT guys at the entrance, so I guess I'll have to find a way past them no matter what I do. Well, I guess the patient disguise is a point of interest for a reason, so I take that, since I figure they might let patients past. I approach them and they say, Problem is, I heard it as go into the lab and wait, and I was very confused. So I spent even more time running around the asylum trying to find a lab or something. Obviously there's nothing to find, so I end up trying to go past the SWAT team, and they just let me. I can't just walk out, but I can actually go into the left room. From here I can go up the stairs and out the window to get to the car, but there is one police officer still in the way. I try to syringe him, but I just can't get it to work. I think the SWAT team officers just can't be syringed or something, but I'm still not sure. Well, there is one last thing I can do. One last trip back into the asylum, and I grab a stun gun from a dead doctor. This works almost exactly like a syringe, it just has infinite uses, and, more importantly, it works on the SWAT team members. So I just stun the guy, grab his disguise, and head out the window. Overall, I'd say this was a pretty good opening level. It's a little linear, but it sets the tone of contracts incredibly well. And it's actually pretty reasonable to get Silent Assassin on. More of 47's injuries or hallucinations or whatever lead him to remember the Meat King's party. These missions don't have traditional briefings, instead they're accessed through a menu. The goal of this mission is to kill the Meat King and his lawyer, as well as rescuing the daughter of the client who has been kidnapped. I'm assuming I'll need this disguise since I start next to it and it's in the cutscene and all, so I take it. You unlock new guns when you get Silent Assassin on each mission, but you only get to customize your loadout if you're replaying missions, so I'll never actually get to use anything I unlock. It's kinda sad, but I think it might make the game better since the missions can be better designed around what you'll actually have. I don't know if it actually made it any better, but I didn't think it was any worse because I couldn't pick my items to bring with me. Two things. First, frisks are back. How much you want to bet that I'll actually be frisked again after this mission? Secondly, what the fuck? Well, I guess I'll leave my guns at the start. You don't get a silenced pistol by default in this game, so it's almost not a loss at all. Now I can get through, and, well, I don't really know what I expected from somebody who calls himself the Meat King. I start by looking around, since I doubt that my butcher outfit will get me very far. A lot of this place really is just a slaughterhouse, and there isn't much to do where the party isn't happening. Also, the guy at the start wakes up. I don't really know how he survives a meat hook to the neck, but more power to him. This just makes me want to find another disguise more. I managed to find one, but it's, occupied at the moment. Fortunately, these two will leave on their own after a while. I grab the disguise and start walking around, and I seem to manage to alert the guards somehow. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. I guess this is the opium waiter disguise, and there can only be one. Well, I might as well just restart at this point. Turns out there's a glowing red button on the side of the truck that's very easy to miss that lets you trap the first guy inside of it. This time, before I get to either target, I'm going to try to rescue the girl. Also, I suppose now's a good time to mention that running doesn't ruin your disguise nearly as easily as it did in Silent Assassin. It still can if you're really careless, but you do have to be exceptionally careless. I head upstairs, and I just have to wait a little bit for this guy to leave the room.
I found the girl.
Can you get her out?
Some of her. Enough for a positive ID.
Was it Sturrock?
His brother. But I assume the mission hasn't changed.
You assume correctly as usual. Carry on, 47.
Well, that's horrifying. You don't have to kill this guy, and 47 certainly doesn't want to, but, well, you're not penalized for killing him. Now I'll go and grab the waiter disguise. Except I'm not fast enough, so I decide to just wait it out again. Then, after waiting for an even longer time, I realize he's probably not going to come back here anymore, so I restart and do what I just did, but faster. The waiter doesn't like me in my disguise, so I'll just hide from him for a bit. Then I just grab the opium from the bar and give it to the lawyer. This sort of incapacitates him for a bit, so I try to use the opportunity to use the meat hook to kill him. It's weird. I can't really hit him at all until he raises up a bit or something, and then when I thought I killed him, it turns out I needed to double tap him again. I don't know. I guess melee attacks are just weird against targets that are lying down or something. He does have a silenced gun on him, so I'll just use that next time instead. Last up is the Meat King himself, and for this I'm gonna need my butcher disguise again. The chef is preparing food for him and periodically brings up chicken for him to eat. Since I have my butcher's outfit, I can be the one to bring it up to him. And more importantly, I can hide a weapon in the chicken. I ended up reloading because I thought I managed to miss my opportunity to hide a weapon in the chicken. Turns out I didn't. The game just very poorly explains how you're actually supposed to hide it. Well, I bring it up to the guy, get the room cleared, close the curtains, and kill him. To leave, I just run to the trucks on the side of the building. I think this mission is really good. It's really fucking weird and creepy, and the atmosphere is perfect. The mission itself is good. The targets are a bit linear and they don't move around a whole lot, but I don't think that's bad when they make the most of it. And I'm starting to see why people liked Berlin and World of Assassination now. A doctor comes in to treat 47's wounds, and he hallucinates as the door opens, reminding him of the Bjarkhov Bomb mission. There are 3 goals for this mission. First, I need to kill Commander Bjarkhov. I also need to kill a guy who's buying a radioactive bomb from him. And lastly, I need to destroy their bomb production facility. This facility happens to be a submarine, meaning I'm going to have to sink it. To do this, I'll need to speak to a contact named Yurishka that's somewhere on the base. The first problem, though, is just getting off the plane. The back of the plane is heavily guarded, and people are unloading the plane as well. I tried a couple times to try to find a timing, but there just didn't seem to be one. I can, however, just exit through the front of the plane, which has way less guards. There's only one guard who can see me, and I later learned that if I'm fast enough, I don't even have to wait for him. But I didn't figure that out yet, so I just wait for his patrol. From here, the only other place I can go is the control tower. I climb up the tower, but I don't find anything useful up there. However, there is a ladder down to a tunnel that connects this building to the warehouse. Inside this tunnel are only 2 guards. One of them is focused on repairing something, and the other is in a side room sleeping. I syringe the sleeping guard for his disguise. In the future, I end up just fiber wiring him, since he'll eventually wake up, which is pretty annoying. Speaking of, the fiber wire animations in this game are kind of broken. If both you and your target aren't standing on a flat plane, it seems like the animations just break and it just gets skipped or something, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but it's kinda weird. Well, now that I have a disguise, I head to the mess hall to meet with my contact.
Good luck.
He tells me that to destroy the submarine, I'll need explosives and to plant them on the 3 weak parts of the hull. You don't have to talk to this guy, but if you do, the weak points get marked on the map, so they're a little easier to find. Now I'll deal with my first target. I find some laxatives in the kitchen, which I assume I can use to poison the soup that he's going to eat. While I'm trying to figure out how to poison the soup, my cover gets blown from the guy waking up, I presume, so I get shot and die. This is when I start fiber wiring that guy. Next try, I actually find the correct pot of soup. It's the one in the kitchen, rather than the one in the mess hall itself. Then I just wait in the bathroom for my target and fiber wire. I grab his disguise, which lets me get escorted to my next target by one of the soldiers. I get taken through the tunnel and I get to use this rail tram thingy. It's a bit faster than walking, but it's certainly a lot slower than running. It's kinda cool the first time, but it gets old really quick. Also, this guard is kinda creepy. He locks in place, but still stares at me if I move around. I don't know, I'm getting scarecrow vibes from him. After a bit, I arrive and step off the platform, and the guard no longer escorts me anywhere or tells me where to go. Luckily, I have a map so I can figure it out myself. Surprisingly, the first 2 guys don't frisk me or anything and just let me in. Though when I get up top, I do get frisked. And not in a creepy way this time. It also took me a little bit to find the door I was supposed to go in because it blends in really well with the wall. And here's my favorite target in these classic Hitman games.
So good to meet you at last, Fabian. I prefer doing business face to face. We shall have some vodka.
None for me, thanks.
No? Very well, Fabian. Very well.
When Bjarkhov turns around to fix the drink, I try to fiber wire him, but I fail. Which means I get to sit through the tunnel again. Ugh. This map still has the problem a lot of the old Hitman games have, where they make a giant map but there isn't actually anything to do in it. I didn't really notice this the first time, but sitting through this tunnel repeatedly makes it more and more apparent. It's not awful or anything, it was a lot worse in the other Hitman games, but this is unfortunately one of the worst levels in this game. I still don't think it's bad or anything, it's just not that good. Anyway, back to the target, and it turns out you have to wait a little bit to fiber wire them. It feels kinda deceptive and cheap, but whatever, I think it fits the character perfectly, so I don't really care. Now for the submarine. First, I need to find the bombs I'm going to use to sink the sub. I have two options to get them. First, there's a room on this ship that's being guarded by 3 people. However, if you're careful and fast enough, you can just run past them. I somehow managed this on my first try and never again. Anyway, now with the bombs, I have to plant them on the sub, which means taking this ladder down. Unfortunately, I ran face first into a guard and my cover got blown, so I'll have to get the bombs again. And I just could not get this place to work ever again. I don't really know what I did differently, but I was doing something wrong. Well, that's fine, I'll just get the actual intended bombs then. These are on the sub itself, but the sub is radioactive, so you'll need to get a radiation suit to grab them safely. Or if you don't want to be safe, you can just run in and grab them and take like half your health and damage. I didn't know that at the time, but that's something you can do. I head for the warehouse and look for the suit. There is one in here, but it's on the ground and really hard to actually see, so it takes me far longer than it should have. But I do eventually find it, and I can just grab the explosives and plant them around the sub, being very careful of that one guard this time. After planting the bombs, I make my way back to the warehouse and I detonate the explosives. This gives me a cutscene this time, so we get to watch the sub blow up. Then I just make my way back to the plane and leave. Unfortunately, in the process of the sub blowing up, there are a bunch of people that die, but they're not directly counted against you. However, if their bodies are found, that can impact your silent assassin rating, and there isn't anything you can do about it. It sucks, but I get lucky with it and I only get 1 alert, so I get silent assassin. This is an alright mission. It's a bit too big with a bit too much running, but it's not as egregious as the other Hitman games were, so I don't really mind it. The doctor actually enters the hotel this time, and the whiskey he uses to sterilize the tools reminds 47 of his Beldingford Manor mission. The goal here is to kill 2 targets, Lord Winston Beldingford and his son Alistair Beldingford. And I also have to rescue the son of the client who's been kidnapped by these 2. Oh, and they're also having a hunting party. I can only guess what they're going to be hunting. I start at the back of the manor, and my first goal is to find a way to sneak inside. I can definitely see why everybody compares this level to Dartmoor so much, but I guess English Manor in the middle of nowhere isn't exactly a novel idea. I start by making my way to the stables, but I get seen so I have to restart. The next time I get seen again, but I take the opportunity to run around and try to find a route into the house. I also get the notification and cutscene that Alistair is ordering whiskey, so I guess I'll want to poison that later. It turns out the dogs outside will also alert the guards if you try to sneak around them. I don't really know what I was expecting, but I guess I'm not used to mechanics working how you think they would. After examining the map a little bit more, I decided to check out what was in the hedge maze. It's not the easiest place to get to, but a little bit of patience goes a long way. Also, why hedge mazes? Is it just a decorative thing? Is it just a rich people thing? I don't know. Anyway, trapdoor. Unsurprisingly, this leads to the basement. I can't get to the point of interest from this side, and there doesn't seem to be anything else of use in this basement. In hindsight, I really should have just fiber wired this one guard for his outfit. That would have saved me so much trouble and is a lot easier than what I ended up doing later. Also, there is an entrance to the house directly from the basement, but I could just never make this entrance work. My final route to the house ends up being running to the tennis court, sticking to the right side as much as possible to avoid the patrolling guards. From here I need to wait a little bit until the guard at the stable entrance leaves, then I can sneak past him to the other building. Sometimes there's a sniper here, but they've never managed to actually shoot me. Here I can just wait for 2 more guards to pass and sneak behind them into an area where they're trying to dry the sheets. Emphasis on the try part. There's a ladder here that I can use to get to the 2nd floor and a vial of poison. Looking at the map shows a secret entrance in the bathroom which will lead me straight to my first target. However, a maid is currently showering, so I'll need to do something to get her to stop. Oh, and there's multiple guards watching these stairs, so I'll need to get a disguise somewhere. Getting a disguise was probably the hardest part of this mission. Again, in hindsight, I really should have just fiber-wired the one guard in the basement, but I didn't realize that at the time, so instead I came up with a different, much more complex, barely working plan. Occasionally, there's a guard that will leave the house and walk outside to the room where the sheets are drying. I try a couple of times, but I can't really stand anywhere to be able to sneak up on him, but I can stand on the roof thingy. So, when the guard moves to go back into the house, I can drop down and run to fiberwire him before he turns around and alerts the rest of the guards. No, this doesn't work very well, but it works sometimes, and it's really cool. Now that I have a disguise, I can use it to turn off the hot water, which causes the maid to leave, so I can use the secret passage to get to my first target. Winston alternates between sleeping and getting up to walk around a bit. There are two main options to kill him. Either I can poison the milk he has on the nightstand, or I can smother him with a pillow. I still want to save my poison for Alistair, so I plan on smothering him. But I went just a bit too early and got caught because he didn't quite fall asleep yet. And I didn't save, so I have to go get my disguise again, and then I just wait a little longer this time. Now for Alistair, and I'm going to poison the whiskey which is in the basement. It's that one point of interest I couldn't get to earlier, which means even more secret passages. Starting from here, there's another passage I take to get to the attic to get out more quietly. Up here, there's an option to put a bomb or something down this chimney to explode Alistair. Unfortunately, this would kill a lot more than just him, and I want Silent Assassin, so I'm not going with this option. The best way I found to get to the basement was to take these stairs all the way down, enter the room Alistair is in, and use the hidden bookshelf door, which is a bookshelf on one side and a perfectly normal door on the other, which you'd think would defeat the entire fucking point of a hidden door, but okay. Then just take the stairs down to the basement. Just be careful the butler isn't down there too. I poison the whiskey, so now Alistair will die and I just have to rescue the captive. He's being held in the stables and I need to get a key to be able to free him. The key is in this room where there are 3 guards, so I'll need to find a way to get them to leave. Fortunately, I can just cut the TV and they'll all leave to investigate. I would have been fine here, but I panicked as I was leaving the room and got my cover blown. I didn't feel like redoing this, so I just ran for it and finished the mission. But about 5 minutes later, I decided that I actually wanted to get Silent Assassin, so I just redid the mission. Same route as before, but this time I brought a silence pistol to shoot the guy, so it's much, much easier. I don't mess up at the stables this time, and nobody cares that the prisoner is escaping. Overall, I liked this mission. I think the atmosphere is really good. The mission design itself is nice. I like all the hidden passages in the manor. It makes it really fun to route. The targets are decent as well, if a little limited. The only bad part about this mission is freeing the guy from the stables. It just feels too weird to try to get past the guards, but that's more of a contracts thing rather than anything against this mission. The police are surrounding the hotel, which causes the doctor to flee, and the sirens make 47 remember Rotterdam. No, not that one. The goal here is to eliminate the leader of a biker gang who is selling some photos on the black market. Of course, I also need to recover the photos, and I have to kill another person who the client sent in to get the photos, but they failed. It's dark and raining again. This is the mission where I finally realized why all the missions were dark and raining. It's meant to be symbolic, since 47's on the brink of death this whole time. Anyway, the briefing mentioned a journalist who was trying to buy the picture, so I sedate him, drag him into the alleyway, and take his clothes. Also, I drop my guns because frisking is actually a thing in this game. Talk to the bartender? That I can certainly do. Where's the bar at? Turns out just following the people leads me there. He takes me up to see the boss, who opens the safe, which lets me fiberwire him. I grab his golden desert eagle as well as the photos and head for the basement. If you were wondering, here's the fucked up part of this mission. Well, I guess I know how I'll kill my target, at least. I'm gonna take another wild guess that the journalist isn't allowed to be down here, so I'll want another disguise. I start with the rooms on the right side, and it looks like this one room's an armory of some kind. I don't actually need any of these weapons or ammo, so I just leave it all there and head for the top right room. I don't know what happened here, and I don't think I want to know, so I just take my disguise and head over to my target. I leave the electricity on for longer than I should, then I make my way out to the exit. Which, conveniently, there are some stairs that lead outside. From here, I thought leaving might be a challenge since I thought I just couldn't walk out, but no, I can. That's perfectly fine. I think this mission's good, but it just comes too late to be memorable or anything. The atmosphere is good, and it does feel like you're in a biker bar, but frankly that's nothing compared to what the rest of this game has. If this was the opening level instead of Meat King's Party, it would have been a lot better, but unfortunately it's just not. Deadly Cargo starts the Codename 47 remakes. This mission is a remake of Gunrunner's Paradise and... Oh no. Well, before you panic too much, this mission is completely different from Plutonium Runs Loose, so it's actually good this time. I kinda feel like this one's barely a remake compared to the next missions, but sure, it's a remake, whatever. The goal for this mission is just to kill Boris, though there is still a nuke this time, but it's being delivered during the mission. The start wants me to track the car that the bomb is in, the same way I did in Codename, basically. Hire someone to distract the guy, plant the tracker, and leave. Though you don't actually have to do anything about the bomb in this mission, so in hindsight this is completely unnecessary. Oh, and the purpose of this tracker isn't to see where the ship is or anything, rather it's just to track where the bomb ends up on the ship. Anyway, with that done, now it's time to head to the ship. The police have closed off the port, so I can't just get to the ship. Also, the background on this mission looks so much better. Anyway, I cut the TV dish and syringe the officer who comes outside to check on it. With the police outfit, I can start making my way to the ship, though obviously I can't go on it with this disguise. Looking at the map, I noticed in the second warehouse there's a point of interest, which I assume to be another disguise. Entering this warehouse is a little tricky. First, there's a police officer who will see me picking the lock, so I have to wait for him. Then, inside the warehouse, there's another patrolling guy who gets in my way. The first time I get caught by him and I leave, which seems to cause him to bug out and he just stands there forever. Well, nothing else I can really do except for restart at this point. This time, I don't get caught on my way upstairs. And yep, there's a disguise here. Now for the ship. I assumed that I'd have to do something about the bomb, so my first stop was heading down to disarm it. And don't worry, the ship is still confusing to navigate, though it is smaller and less confusing than Codename was. This is where the GPS tracker comes in. The car can end up in a few different places and the tracker just helps you find it faster. I just wait for the guards to look the other way and I disarm the bomb. Interestingly, if you skip either of these cutscenes, your cover gets blown, but I don't think it actually does. Like, you get the alert, but nothing happens. I don't know. Now, with the bomb disarmed, all that's left is to kill Boris. And this time, he isn't holed up in an area that I can't access. He walks between a few different rooms and floors of the ship. I figure out where Boris's room is, but I get caught when I try to walk in thanks to a very poorly timed guard. Next time, I'm a lot faster, so I don't get caught by the guard and I end up waiting in Boris's room. He walks in here alone, so fiber wire. Now to escape. I don't have to steal the ship this time, so I can just leave the way I came in. So I just walk off the ship, and the SWAT team raid starts. Wonderful. Obviously, since I'm disguised as one of Boris's men, I get shot a bunch. I tried a few different times to figure out ways to get off the ship faster, or if I could find another route, or just try to dodge the SWAT teams once they were on the ship, but nothing seemed to work. So, there is something else I can do. I'll just let the bomb be the SWAT team's problem. Instead of going for the bomb, I just head straight for Boris. This doesn't help enough, though. I think the SWAT team arriving might be tied to when Boris dies, so that didn't help very much. I didn't really realize that, so new plan, I'll just restart the mission and try to be faster. I still track the car, I don't really know why, but I follow the same route I did earlier, but just do it all quicker. And it works this time. Again, it's kinda hard to call this mission a remake, since it's almost completely different compared to what Plutonium Runs Loose was. Though this did let them make an actually good mission, because I doubt there was really anything to salvage from Gunrunner's Paradise or Plutonium Runs Loose. There's a lot going on in this mission, and you can also join in on the SWAT raid. Or you can just snipe Boris and you don't have to go to the ship at all. It's just a good mission. Alright, Traditions of the Trade. This is the start of the much more traditional remakes. This was a good mission in Codename, so let's see if they made it any better here. I get to start this mission with a sniper, which seems particularly useless. I drop it in my other guns and take the ID off this guy who I knocked out in the cutscene. Instead of just walking in this time, you have to show this guy the ID you picked up, and then you can walk in. I don't really see why, but whatever, sure. Walking in, you can really just feel how dead this entire building feels compared to what it was in Codename. First, there's just not very many people walking around, and secondly, lots of areas in this hotel are closed off now. The restaurant is closed off and completely inaccessible, and the thermal bath, the entire gimmick of the hotel, is also closed, though you do have to sneak in there to kill your target. Oh, and the thermal bath guy is actually a target this time, rather than just someone you incidentally have to kill. The right side entrance to the thermal baths is always being guarded, so I just have to sneak in through the left. It's hard to describe, but walking through here really makes the map feel empty and sad, I guess. I get that it's the vibe that Contracts is going for, but I just don't think it fits this map at all. Anyway, there's one guard in the pool who I also have to dodge, but I managed to sneak over to the sauna on the left side. I was gonna see if I could try to drown the guy in the pool, but he moved to the sauna, so I guess that'll be his fate. It's a little tricky trying to get to the sauna with the guard here now, but it's not hard. He dies just like he did in Codename, and I pick up his key and sneak back out. Fortunately, the guard doesn't care that I pick-lock this side of the door and walk through it. Turns out it's not just the restaurant that's closed on the first floor, this entire wing is closed as well. Though I can actually pick this lock, and yep, I can see why the wing is closed. Oh. Well, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. That sounds like a great idea. You get the master key to the rooms in the exact same way as before. You just take it from a door and nobody cares. Which is frankly disappointing. I hope that Contracts would add a better way to get the key than just basically stealing it from the guy, but whatever. I just grab the key and then I see stairs I can head down to the restricted area. The police officer tells me there was an accident here, but I don't know. I crouch to get behind him and, oh lord. This was certainly not an accident. Apparently the ghost from before can also appear in this mirror, but there's not much else to do here. So, I'm just gonna move on. The second target is the same as before. Use the key to get into a side room and jump the balcony. Except this time I get to syringe the guard in the room so he gets to live. I kill the target in the same way with a silenced pistol he keeps in his room. This room also has a special briefcase. It's a surprise tool that'll help me later. I'm also kinda sad that this target is the same. I would have hoped I could do something to make him move, like turning off the water or something, but no. Well, time for the bomb, I guess. It's in the same spot as before, the X-ray room in the dentist's office. I just fiber wire a guy to make getting in easier, and then I grab the bomb. As I'm looking through the map, I realize what that special briefcase was for. You can't just grab the bomb and run like you could in the original. The problem is that the restaurant's closed and you can't go out the back like you could, so you have to get the bomb through all the metal detectors to get to the only exit in the entrance. So, this is what the briefcase is for. You can put the bomb in it, which lets you take it through security. This feels worse, I think. It's entirely arbitrary and up to preference, but I think the original of just taking it down the stairs and trying not to get shot was a lot better. This mission fits Contracts better, but I think it's a worse level. The hotel doesn't feel alive anymore, which makes the map feel a lot worse for me. The whole level could be better, but they barely did anything with the targets, which I think is the more important part of remaking a mission. Fuchs is still just showering with no way to make him stop, and the other guy doesn't even go to the restaurant anymore. It's not like you could poison him in Codename, but that'd be a perfect opportunity here. But no, the targets barely move, and they basically have one intended way of killing them. So the only thing left that could be better is the map design, which is just worse. It's not like it's a bad map or anything, it's just why did they bother remaking it if they weren't going to actually fix any of the problems? Well, now for the Hong Kong remakes. At least they didn't remake the jungle missions. Slaying a dragon. Well, they changed the mission names at least. I guess Kowloon Triads and Gang War doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. The first mission's the same deal as before. Kill the red dragon guy to frame the blue lotus to start a gang war. However, this mission is actually pretty good, and it's what these remake levels should have been. I start with a sniper rifle, and I take some time to look for a good sniper spot. However, any good spot's actually already being guarded. This ladder is being guarded, and the one good vantage point in the building on the other side of the park also has guards in front of it. However, there's something else in this building, but there's a guy in the room now, so I restart to not have to deal with him. In this room is a car bomb. Now this is what I wanted to do the first time I played this mission, and this is why I think it's a good remake. Not only is it graphically improved, but you also have a few options to kill the red dragon guy this time. Obviously you can snipe him, or you can use this car bomb. There's also a gardener's disguise to let you get into the park and get up close to the negotiator, or poisonous tea. Obviously some of these options are harder or worse than others, but it's great to have the options. I take the car bomb and head to the car to see if I can use it. No. I think I could try to manipulate these guys to stop looking at me or something, but that seems like it's a lot more trouble than it's worth. I end up looking for sniper spots again, and I notice that this guy leaves his post for a bit. So I just wait for him and syringe him, which lets me climb up the ladder. From here I can just snipe the red dragon guy, climb back down the ladder, and leave. It's a pretty simple mission, but it was vastly improved. I still think the only Hong Kong mission that was worthy of being remade was the Li Hong assassination, but this one was done well enough that I think it's fine. The Wang Fou incident. I feel like this is a bit more than an incident, but again, we'll just agree to disagree on that one. This one is not a good remake in my opinion. Objectively, it should be better, but it just doesn't feel like it is. Now the car spawns in and I run to the restaurant to observe, and just standing in front of the restaurant is enough to get me killed. Lovely. So next time I just wait in the alley for the driver to syringe him and take his disguise. Now I can go into the restaurant, I think. Nobody stops me, but I don't actually know if I'm allowed to be in here. There's one guy who goes to the bathrooms that I could probably kill, but getting to the rest of them seems impossible from here. Especially since I try to walk into the restaurant proper and die. Oh, and you don't start this mission with a car bomb either. Great. So obviously I have to be missing something. And I am. Turns out there's just a ladder to the side of the restaurant that you can get to and climb up. From here you can sneak into this room to grab a car bomb, a sniper rifle, and a disguise. I'm assuming that the plan from here should be to get everyone that I can with the car bomb and then mop up the rest of them with a sniper rifle somehow. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it's the best I can come up with. So I syringe the driver and I plant the bomb. While waiting for the car to leave, I was exploring the rest of the map, and I noticed you can go into Li Hong's office, house, whatever it is. It is incredibly dark, which gives me the first excuse I have ever had in any of these Hitman games to use night vision. After getting lost inside the building for far too long, I make my way upstairs and I grab an Ortmeyer keycard from Li Hong's desk. If you're wondering, it lets you get the Golden Desert Eagles in Asylum Aftermath after you finish the game, so it's not really useful. Back to the mission, and apparently I can't walk down to where the targets are, so I'm going to have to kill them from up top. What do you think the solution is? If you answered, snipe them from above because the lights are off so the guards obviously can't see you, you'd be correct. Also, you really want to get both of them with one shot. It's not that hard to do once you figure it out, but finding the spot is really hard. Once I kill them, I need to figure out how to kill the guys with the car bomb next. Turns out I messed up by not putting the driver in the sewer after I knocked him out. He woke up and ran to the car, but didn't do anything apart from that. Everyone's just standing around, and I can't figure out a way to get them moving again. Apparently, you can trigger this by dropping the driver into the sewer, so I just reload a save. Now I have to shoot the targets kinda fast to be able to make it to the driver before he wakes up. Then I just have to time the explosion to kill the two other random targets that are just vibing out there on the map, I guess. I think this mission is just worse. Objectively, it should be better because you can go into the restaurant now, but I just don't think it actually helps anything. Maybe if you could poison the food or something, but sniping from the top because the lights are off is just not it, and it took me far too long to figure out what I was supposed to do. Also, this is another mission that just did not need to be remade. It's effectively a tutorial mission from Codename. Just let it stay there. Now for the Chief of Police mission again, except this time I also have to kill the Blue Lotus guy as well. I'm getting really tired of saying I did the same thing as I did in Codename, so here's the fast version. I start by heading to the basement to grab the chef disguise. This disguise won't work on the restaurant staff, but it will let me climb into the window of the bathroom to drop my guns in there. Because obviously if I did this in my suit, it would be suspicious, but a chef climbing in the bathroom window is perfectly normal. Then I run to the Red Dragon negotiator, kill him, hide his body in the sewer, take his token thing and his disguise. Then I go to the restaurant, grab the bathroom key, and realize I don't have a silenced pistol in there because I did this in the wrong order. The Red Dragon guy has a silenced pistol, so I kill him first, but don't take his disguise. Then I go and put it in the bathroom. Now that the silenced pistol's in the bathroom, I shoot both of my targets, leave the mark on the table to ensure that I am not subtle in the slightest, and leave. There's a couple other ways you can do this mission, like sniping them or poisoning their food, but this is the easiest, I think. And again, like the other missions, I don't know why this one was remade. Just leave it in codename. Alright, the Li Hong Assassination, the only mission that might be worth remaking. Same as before, I have to kill Li Hong, rescue Lei Ling and Agent Smith, and retrieve the Jade figurine. Except this time, I don't have to deliver it to anybody. This time, they actually turned on the lights in the restaurant so I can see. First, I head to the bar to get the brothel invitation, as well as a bottle of laxatives that are with the alcohol for some reason. I just follow the red lights to the brothel, find Lei Ling, and actually have a normal human conversation with her this time. At least this time the guards actually care about her escaping, so I have to take a sneaky route, which means taking the balconies instead of just walking out. Along the way, I find a bottle of poison, which might be useful, but if Li Hong's bodyguard behaves like last time, I doubt it will be. I have to jump a balcony, which Lei Ling struggles with a bit, but after this I just take the stairs down after waiting for a guard. He probably should have seen her escape, but I guess this is actually the guard from the first game, thankfully. From here, I'm really close to the basement, so I should probably go ahead and go save Smith. Once I wait for the guard, I go downstairs and grab one of these disguises. There's two options, either a guard outfit for the guards at the front of the restaurant or a chef outfit. I assume that the guard outfit had to be more useful than the chef disguise, which was very wrong. Somehow a chef in the hidden torture basement doesn't get gunned down. Okay. Rescuing Smith is also much easier this time, and again he tells me where the Jade figurine is.
I understand. Go take care of yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Listen, I hope we get to meet again under more favorable circumstances.
Yes. That might seem possible to you.
This is my new favorite Hitman line. Anyway, I get lucky and the Jade figurine is right by me in the basement. Again, there's 4 possible spots it could be, but I imagine this time you can open the safes in the other spots without shooting 5 people. Now for Li Hong. I'm assuming I should just do something similar to last time and try to poison him. I know his bodyguard will eat his food, so normal poison won't help me, but maybe I could try the laxatives to see if I can get him alone for a little bit. Last time, I could maybe understand that the guard watching didn't understand cooking and thought that what I did was perfectly normal, but both of these chefs are perfectly fine with me just pouring a bottle of laxatives in the food they already made. I know that them being suspicious would make the gameplay worse or whatever, but like, come on, at least try to have a little subtlety or something. Well, I just serve the food and get Li Hong alone. It doesn't seem like this helps much at all, but I'll give it my best try from here. I just firewire him and drag him to the other side of the table. It's not a good hiding place, but it's not like I have many options. Then I just make a break for the exit and hope for the best. I don't think this mission's any better than the codename version is. It took me a while to figure out why, and I'm still not entirely sure, but I think it really comes down to the atmosphere. First, it being nighttime and raining doesn't help this mission at all, but I also think the level design is just a lot worse. In Codename, it felt like a massive building that I got lost in, and it felt like a place where a crime lord would reside and do all of his business. But here, it's just a restaurant in the middle of the city. Being on the coast made the Codename version feel more tense. You had to escape on the jet ski, but here, you can just walk out the door. The only part of this mission that's any better is escaping with Lei Ling because the guards actually care a little bit. The basement section feels worse, especially since I can do all of that while disguised as a chef of all things. It was kind of a maze in the last one, and here it's just a straight line. Killing Li Hong was honestly disappointing. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but it feels like the main way is being pushed to do something with Li Hong's soup again. Which means you never go to his house, compound, office, whatever the fuck it is. It's just kinda disappointing. It's not like the level's bad or anything, it just doesn't hit right. But it's also not like I really recommend playing Codename to experience the original. So, it's okay. The remakes could have been a lot better in this game, but they're fine. Well, 47 finally wakes up and is surrounded by the police. I've gotten Silent Assassin on all the other missions so far. I'm gonna get it here as well. I spent a while looking at the map the first time, which gives the SWAT teams long enough to get into position and kill me when I walk in. There's a power switch on this level, which I think I might be able to get to. No, not directly. I tried several times, and I got close, but I was always just short of turning off the lights before they saw me. So instead I duck into another room and I jump out onto a rooftop. There isn't anything on this rooftop, but I can use it to jump to the other hotel room and get behind the SWAT team. Now I can turn off the lights and watch as they spin around in circles, panicking. It's way funnier than it should be. Anyway, I need a disguise, and there's a lone police officer on the second floor that seems like a perfect candidate. I quickly syringe him, pick the door, and drag him inside before more police show up. I take his disguise as well as the other useful stuff in the room, like more syringes and a silenced pistol. No, I don't know what's happening in here, and I'm not gonna find out. This disguise will be good enough to get me to the ground, but if I want to get to my target, I'm gonna want something better. After dodging a couple guards, I find the disguise I'll need, the firefighter. I want to syringe him, but that's a little hard. For one, I just need to assume that the people behind the barrier aren't real and won't say or do anything. Next, I have to actually sneak up on the guy. This is really hard with how he's positioned, so I have to lose his attention first. Fortunately, I can walk far enough away and then sneak up behind him. And I was right, nobody cares. From here, the best way to get to my target is through the sewers. Next problem. How the hell am I supposed to kill this guy and get Silent Assassin? I spent a while trying to see if I could make any of the people watching him move. There's no obvious distractions, and it didn't seem like there was anything I could shoot either. So maybe I could just make a run for it? Wow, I was not expecting that to just work. I guess the firefighter disguise is really good. And as I was escaping, I had a realization. Wait a minute, I wasn't played by my client for once. What a plot twist. And of course, there's an ominous ending to finish things off.
This is serious business. Do you have this kind of money?
It's under your seat.
So overall, Contracts is good and definitely worth playing. The remakes are probably the worst part, but they're not awful or anything. And I would still much rather play them thanks to Contract's mechanics than play the original Codename versions. I'd say this game only has 1, maybe 2 bad levels in it, and they're not even horrible or anything. This is just one of those games that you're willing to put up with old game jank to play because it's good.